So hi guys, in this video we're gonna create something interesting. We're gonna create jokes. We're gonna fetch jokes from an API, which we will be, updating via Django channel. That is via WebSockets. And for this we are using basically channels, Celery and Redis. So after every, 3 seconds, this task of fetching the data from the API will be executed. Those of you don't know, let me tell you that Celery is a task scheduler. So every 3 seconds, an API call will be made to that API, and jokes will be fetched, and they are updated in real time via Django channels. So this is what we're gonna create. Now, if you don't know what channels is, I recommend you first read the documentation, because this is not a beginner tutorial. So I'm assuming that you have some, experience with Django channels and Celery. Now coming back to project, you can see that I have two different windows here, and both the clients are connected to same channels group, and that's why the joke that is being fetched from the API is updated in real time in both these windows. You can see that it exactly takes updated in same time in both these windows, and these are different windows, by the way. One is in incognito mode and another is different incognito mode, you can see. So this is what we're gonna create in this video. So let's get started with that. So let's get started with our project. Let's -admin start project. Let's name it channels joke. Let's move into this directory, and let's create our app. Django-admin start, sorry about that, start app joke. Now let's get started with the basic configurations of Django project. Let's first import OS. Let's register our app. That's it. And configurations for templates. .join. That's it. Now I'm gonna create a template directory. Let's create a file called index.html. Let me first bring the code for, or URL for Bootstrap actually. Templates base.html. Yeah, this. Bootstrap CDN. Sorry, spelling this wrong. Container. By the way, these all are Bootstrap classes that I'm writing right now, so I'm gonna wrap my content inside a jumbotron. Make this h3.jumbotron. And I'm gonna use joke, which I'll be in this very context I'll be sending from my views actually. So I'm writing it right now only. So let's open our views.py, create a function index request. Let's import request module also. So the API, first get the raw API I was talking about is this. I'm gonna give the link to this API in the description box, don't worry about that. So let's get the raw data first. Raw data equals to requests dot get actually API URL dot JSON. Now if let's copy this URL and paste it in the browser and see what we get. So you can see we have a JSON data where we have type, key and value, and inside value we have jokes. So this is what we actually want, these jokes. So let's write the configurations for this. So JSON, we get the JSON data, and now we want jokes. So raw data, inside that we want value key, and inside value we want joke key. Now let's return a render. Template name will be index.html, and context will be we have used joke, and we want to send this joke. Let's bring the URLs for URL matching from joke.views import index. Path will be this, and index name equals to index. So that's it. That's what we have to do. Let's test it out. Python manage.py run server. Hopefully it will run fine. Yes, project is up and running. Let's test this out in the browser. So index.html does not exist, so there must be error in the naming or something. Yes, it's index.html actually. That's what the error is. Now let's get again, it's index.html. So what's the issue here? Let's name it actually fail only. I don't know if this is the error or not, but let's try this. Maybe this will be the error. Let's go again and test this out. No. So maybe error is in the settings. os.path.join base dir templates. Oh, spelling for templates is wrong actually. Now this will work. Sorry about that, guys. So see, yes, now we have these jokes that we are sending from that we are accessing or fetching from that API. So now let's do the configurations for Celery so that we can schedule this task, and every 3 seconds we can fetch the data, fetch the data or the jokes from that API. And then we're going to use Django channels to, as soon as the Celery task complete, we're going to use Django channels, and channels will, via WebSocket, will send those jokes to the template actually. So let's get started with that. So let's get started with our Celery configurations. So I'm going to create a file called celery.py. Now the code plate for Celery, I already have that. So let me bring that. You can obviously download this code, get this code from my GitHub repo, which I'll drop the link for my GitHub in the description box, so you can get it from there only. Just make sure that you have your project name here, channel scope.setting, because that's what setting your Django Celery will be using. So that's it. And before that, make sure you have actually Celery installed and Redis server up and running, because we'll be using Redis as a broker here. You can read more about how Celery works and how Redis works together with Celery and work as a broker. I actually have a Medium blog on this, so you can read it there. By the way, all link to all these resources will be in description, so don't worry about that. So these are the settings you have to do for Celery task. Broker URL. Right now Celery is in our local server, and default port of Celery is 6739, and that's what we'll be using. So make sure you have a Celery server up and running. Let's create a first task actually, which will fetch the data from the API. So I'm gonna name it task.py, and we need actually a request module, requests. We need a shared task. So from Celery import shared task. So and so we also need actually task logger. So from celery dot utils dot log import get task logger, and logger equals to get task logger. You can obviously read about all this thing what I'm doing in my Medium blog and more in the Celery documentation. So if you're worrying how I'm writing all these, so this is all given in the Celery documentation. All you have to do is just go read it out, and that's it. That's how you're gonna know. So let me create our first task. I'm gonna name it get joke data, decorated with shared task. Ultimately it's a task. So now just simply write all the steps you wanted to do that you are doing in views, your views actually. So let me save this first, and let me bring the API. So this is the API actually. Paste it here, get the JSON data, and joke will be raw data, value, joke. And for now we have not done the configurations for channels, so let's simply print this out. Let's simply print the joke. And while where is our celery.py? So what we want actually to this get joke data functions to run every 3 seconds. So that is actually celery task schedule. So we're gonna do that here. So we're gonna use app dot conf dot beat schedule, and this will be get let's name it get joke every 3s, and again in dictionary, and task will be inside string. You only have to give task will be what's your app name? App name is joke. Inside task you have get joke data, and sorry, schedule is 3 seconds. So you have to write it like this. Now we are ready to go and test this out. So let's test this out. So before that we have to get celery build and celery worker up and running. So just write these commands for that. So just first migrate into the project directory, channels joke, and just type this command, celery your project name, channels joke, first beat L info. Just type this and wait. Do not process it yet. And in the next terminal, first move into this directory and type celery channels joke. First a channels joke worker L info. Now project is up and running. Yes, so let's get the beat celery beat up and running. Enter and come here. Now as soon as I hit enter, you can see that this is the these all the files are also created by Celery, so these are automatically created. Now as you can see here, the jokes are getting printed every 3 seconds. These are the jokes: count 10, Chuck Norris has deep, and something like that. Chuck Norris roundhouse. So yeah, actually jokes are printing every 3 seconds, and you can see that every 3 seconds Celery is sending tasks to process it. You can see every 3 seconds a new task is added. You can see date, time, and all here. So yeah, it's working. So let's stop this now. Stop the Celery server and get done with our configurations of Django channels. That I'm assuming that you have a little bit basic understandings of how channel works, or what are WebSockets, what are ASGI. You can obviously read about them in the documentations. This is not a beginner tutorial. It's more of a how to use channels, not just for chat app, because most tutorials you will find out there, not all, but maximum of them are about group chat, not even a personal chat. So don't worry, in further tutorial I will create a personal chat program, because when I was learning channels, I wanted to find Somehow I wanted to find personal chat tutorial with channels, but I cannot find it there. I cannot find it on the internet or anywhere in the blogs and all. So, but I decided how we can do that. So in further tutorial, I will do that. But most of the tutorials will teach you channels with help of some sort of chat app, and we're not doing that in this tutorial. So I'm assuming you have basic understandings of what channel is and how channel works. So open our ASGI file and let's uh, you know do the basic configurations. Before that, let's add channels to our installed app. It is recommended to add channels at the top. Now when you have added channels, so you also gonna use ASGI application. Because channels process request via WebSockets. So ASGI application. Now for this also you have to use Celery. So I have settings for that. You can also get it from GitHub. So this is the setting. Still port is 6379. Now let's back to our ASGI file and let's import basic things that we need. So and we're gonna actually write our routes here for channel consumers. So you can think of routes or as simply a counterpart to the Django URLs. It works in similar ways how Django URLs work. So compare it with Django URLs. That way it will be much easy for you to understand it. So from channels.auth import auth middleware stack from channels.routing channels.routing. We can import URL router, URL router, protocol type router, and we haven't yet created our consumer, but we'll import that too when we create it. For now, just write empty pattern, empty pattern. So path. Just to differentiate that these are channels route, it's recommended to use abbreviation WS, so that way you actually know that this is channels route or channel consumer we are talking about. We haven't yet imported, but I'm gonna name it get joke consumer, so I'll write it down here. And once I have to introduce application protocol type router. It's a dictionary, and it's WebSocket auth middleware stack, a tuple and URL router and WS pattern. So that's it. That's all you have to do in ASGI. You can actually create okay, so error is Oh, we haven't actually imported path, so let's import that also. Django dot urls import path. We also have don't have git consumer, but you can also create a separate routing.py and introduce all these routes there also. That also you can do, but it's a simple channels app, so we're not gonna do that in this video. Now let's create our file consumers.py. Now obviously you can think of consumers.py as a counterpart to Django views. So this consumer actually holds the views, or process the requests that are via WebSockets. So let's establish a basic connections from channels dot generic WebSocket import async. I don't know why my autocomplete is not working. I'm gonna check it later. Consumer from shref dot sync import. Actually we don't need this. Yeah, we are using async WebSocket consumers. We don't need this actually. So let's simply create a class called get joke consumer, inherit with async WebSocket consumer, async def, establish the connection. So let's establish the connection. Self dot room group name. If you have the basic understandings of how channel works, that way it will be more clear. So self dot channel layer dot group add. So let's add this channel to the group. So self dot room group name from self dot channel, not layer but actually name. So, and after that let's accept this connection. So, accept. Now similarly write a function for disconnect. Await self dot channel layer dot group discard self dot room group name comma self dot channel name. So you are done with the consumer. Improperly configured ASGI application module. So let's see what's the error inside. So guys, ultimately the issue was spelling mistake. So this has to be middleware stack. Now if I run this again, get joke consumer is not defined. Obviously we haven't imported it. Let's do it above. Joke dot views, sorry, consumers import get joke consumer. Hopefully the spelling is correct. Let's copy this from here. Let's save this. Path middleware stack, obviously spell. Okay, so now it's up and running. Bring our page and inspect it. So yeah, it's working. So now all we have to do is basic JavaScript. So let's do that. But before that, we have to actually send data in our task.py. As soon as task is complete, we have to send it to the channels. So let's first do that. Let's bring the channel layer. And before that, we have to bring from channels dot layers import get channel layer. We are actually bringing the whole channel here. Channel layer. Let's initialize it. Get channel layer. And now we have what we also need, that this function here is a synchronous function. So we have to use async to sync from href dot sync import async to sync. So use this async to sync channel layer. To broadcast message in the whole layer, we have to use function group send. Joke, because this is what we have named our group joke here, so we're going to use it. And type is the function that we run in our consumer, so it will be send joke. And what we want to send is a text. This will be joke. So let's get back to our consumer and define a function async def send joke self comma event. Now this function name should be the same as you have given here. So let's get the messages will event, and it will be text, because this is the key we have given in our task. See, text. And let's send this message to the layer, to the group actually, and it will be received by all the group members. Function for that is send. So self.send and text data we want to send, and it will be text message. So that's it. Now let's go back to our HTML and JavaScript code. So first let's actually create a WebSocket connection. Let's make a WebSocket connection from socket, new WebSocket. It will be WS. We have to write that URL or that route for the consumer that we have used in our ASGI file. So window, let's get the host name actually. So window.location.host plus WS and after that we have joke. So plus joke, and we have, I think, yes, we have slash. So joke. Now once the socket, so what will happen when connection is made? So socket.on open, I'm gonna create a function, event will be e, and just simply log the connection made. Socket.on close, create function, and just simply log connection closed, and on message received, create a function and log the message e dot data. Actually, data will be the message that will receive, data will be the key actually. Let's actually test this out. Let's go back here and refresh our page. So URL route was incorrect, we haven't actually used the slash. So here we have to give one more slash actually. It's not a major issue. Let's refresh it, and connection is made. Now after 3 seconds we sorry, but we'll see that we haven't really fired up our Celery server actually. Let's fire that. Let's fire our beat first, and then our worker. Now let's refresh it again. Connection made, and after 3 seconds we are receiving messages. After every 3 seconds you can see that we are receiving the messages. Okay, so it's working. Now let what we want this message to simply print here in our container. So for that, let's give id to this. Let's give id joke. Let's get this box equals to document dot get element by id joke, and when we get the data we want to print, so joke box dot inner html property equals to e dot data. Let's save this and let's go back and run this. Now you can see every 3 seconds this will change. You can see that every 3 seconds. And now to test it out in a better way, I'm gonna bring one more tab, and let's bring this side by side. You can see that. Now open the URL. Now you can see that these will change simultaneously. If these both these client actually are connected to the same group, so they will receive same messages that are broadcasted to the group. You can see that it's changing simultaneously and same messages are received by both the clients. So this is what channels is, and this is the power of channel. Real-time interaction used for real-time web applications. So that's it, guys. That's it for this video, and I hope you like the video. If you do, please like, share and subscribe. That way you can also support the channel, and don't worry, all the necessary Links to the resources will be provided in the description box. Just make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and that's it, guys. Stay safe and stay healthy. Thank you so much for watching it.